I got a new iPhone 6 Plus because I didn't want to have a camera and a phone and a computer and all those different things. My wife knew that my old iPhone was running out of battery life, and I happened to be with Pastor Patrick Patterson and Mary Beth in a boat on German Lake. My old iPhone was in my pocket. I reached over and down it went to the bottom of the lake. She was sure I did that on purpose so that I could have one of these today. I'd like to talk about story today and how important it is for the people you love and the people you know to know your story. And if they know your story and you know their story, you might just have a chance to hold your family together in a world that could tear it apart. Before we go too far in, here's our line from today, our scripture from today. Now, a few weeks ago, they preached about Abraham getting this call, and he leaves what is now Iran, and he goes down, wanders and wanders and wanders, because God says, I'm going to build a great nation out of you. They lived there for a while, Abraham and Isaac, Jacob. Joseph goes to prison. They talked about that story. And into Egypt they go. They become slaves. That's the story that we live with. Abraham and Sarah were our father and mother. Out of Egypt they come. Into the Red Sea. We're as good as dead, and God saves us. God gives the 10 Commandments. That was last week, right? The 10 Commandments. Do this and you will live. It wasn't a bunch of rules to tie you up. This is a dangerous world. You want to live. Do this and you'll live. And today, after Moses is dead, as Joshua, who took over the place, took over control and brought the people into this new land, as he is about to die, he gives them this one last story. He says, you were saved again and again and again. You were called to bless the world. I'm on my way out. But you have to decide who you're going to serve. Bob Dylan had that song, you gotta have to serve somebody. Who are you going to serve? He says, as for me and my house, we're going to serve this Lord who's carried us all the way through. I'd like to give you 5 simple things you can do every night in every home, every night in every home. Whether you're caring for one of these beautiful young singers or whether you're caring for grandma in a nursing home, something you can do to hold these people you love together in a world that could tear it apart. 5 ways. Phil wrote a song for this, and I think there might even be a bulletin stuffer to help you. Do you have one of these? Did you get one of these on the way in? Share, read, talk, pray, bless. Those are the 5 things we're going to learn about. Take it away, Philippos.
All right, yeah.
Teach us a song.
I have a sore throat this morning, so I'll do my best. But yeah, this is a song we wrote a couple of years ago and sang for quite a while on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings. So it goes like this. Faith 5, 5 ways to keep your faith alive. Faith 5 ways to keep your family closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the number. Share, read, talk, pray, bless one another.
Let's try it. Faith 5. Faith 5. 5 ways to keep your faith alive. Faith 5. 5 ways to keep your family closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the number. Share, read, talk, pray, bless one another. Faith 5. Beautiful. And that is even on YouTube, I think. So if you want to go home, pull this little piece out. Pastor Dan and I are in a doctoral program in the field of linguistic philosophy called semiotics. Have you ever studied semiotics? Basically, we're trying to figure out why does anything mean anything in a post-Gutenberg neo-Google world? Why does anything mean anything? I don't know about you, but I have information overload. I don't need more information. I don't need better organized information. I don't want to carry 20 things. I just need to know what I need to know and how to get there when I need to get there. There's a book called Clue Train Manifesto that was written about 10 years ago, and it was all about marketing in the post-Gutenberg neo-Google world. It started with the 95 theses of internet marketing. You might want to pick that up as we come close to the Reformation, the 95 theses of internet marketing. And it said, we don't need more information, we need understanding. And the only way to get understanding is to enter the world of story. Of story. That's how we get understanding. One of my favorite Jewish Lutherans is a professor out in Oregon. His name is Reuben Ben Jonathan. And he asks the rhetorical question, do you know any Hittites? No? Do you carpool with an Ammonite? No? Are you on the PTA with a Amalekite? No? Why? They disappeared. Why did they disappear? They forgot to tell their children their story. And if your children don't know your story, they don't lose their past. They lose their future. Do your children know your story? What if every night you decided you're going to turn off the television, put the internet away, set the cell phone on silence, put this in the refrigerator, and invest just a few minutes on the story of the day and God's story and how they intersect? It starts with share, highs and lows. I do some work in India. We have a preschool project going on in India right now, and I'm training pastors. We had to do English, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Karnida, Oraita. I had to have 5 different languages going at once, so I decided some nice little pictures and symbols. By the way, pictures and symbols are a great post-Gutenberg, neo-Google way to do things. Flip it over, share highs and lows. What if every night, everyone that you loved knew your highs and lows of the day, and they knew yours? Everybody stretch. High. High, low. High. It looks like a Pentecostal church. Very good. High, low. You know how the Pentecostals vote in their convention? They lower a hand. That's how they do that. Do you know what happens neurologically when you're sharing a high and a low? Point to your head. When you're sharing a high, a message goes from your brain at 100 yards a second. Do this. 100 yards, 100 yards, 100 yards a second, right? An electrical message goes down to the end of the little nerve cells. There are little bags of chemicals that go pop. Do it again. Ready? 100 yards, 100 yards, 100 yards a second. Pop! The chemicals jump across the space called a synapse, and they bond to a protein on the other end of the nerve cell. Here we go again. Once more. 100 yards, 100 yards, 100 yards a second. Pop! Bond. And all through your body, at 100 yards a second, when you're sharing a high and a low, goes an electrical chemical message. It says, I feel good. Free drugs. Kids, you can drug your mother every night. You can drug grandma in the nursing home every night if you give her a call or a Skype and ask her highs and lows. These are healthy chemicals that God has built into our body that bolster our immune system, heal our wounds faster, and give us a little jolt of high. You get them when you share a high. You know what? You get them when you share a low. A good cry is a good cry. Pity the child who doesn't have someone that they can get that out with. Highs and lows. The second piece is to read. Reading is so good for the brain. It's just amazing for your imagination. My mom read to us every night and did all of these wonderful impressions as she read, and it was just wonderful for our brains. But of all the books we read, how could we read all of the rest and not include the best? Trinity's going to be going through some new decisions and some new shapes in order to make sure that between worship, there's great, great learning. And my suggestion all over the country and all over the world is stay on one story all week long. And if this week's story is at the edge of the promised land, at the end of the conquest, Joshua says, choose who this day you'll serve. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. If that's the story, what if we return to that story every single night this week and go deep and deep and deeper into God's story? The third piece here is to talk. Every night in every home, or with grandma in the nursing home. Do you know that at birth, little girls have 11% more brain tissue dedicated to talking than little boys? Did you know that? Did you know that at birth, little boys have 11% less brain tissue dedicated to listening than little girls? In the womb, the brain is growing at the exact same speed until the testosterone kicks in. And then up above the left ear in the linguistic and phonics centers of the brain, the little girl's brain just keeps on growing, and the little boy's brain takes a break for about 40 years. But the wonderful thing about the brain is just like muscles, the more you lift, the more capacity you grow to lift. The more you listen, the more capacity you grow to listen. The more you share your highs and lows, the more capacity you grow for empathy, for sympathy, for care. I'm afraid today we're raising a lot of little boys who can spend a lot of time online, but not a lot of time getting the feelings out. Little girls who hold it inside, anorexia, bulimia, cutting. Little boys, well, why is it 69 of the last 70 school shooters were little boys? Imagine raising a generation where every night in every home we're learning how to get the joy and get the pain out. This beautiful poem started with, to be a poet is to hurt. To be alive is to hurt and to celebrate. What if every night in every home, every child and every elder had the joy, rejoicing with those who rejoice, and got rid of the pain? Share, read, talk, pray. Do you know what happens when you pray for somebody else and when somebody's praying for you? Especially if you're holding hands or touching somehow. Here's what happens when you pray. Point to your head. A message goes from your brain at 100 yards a second, down to the end of the nerve cells. Pop, go the electrical chemicals, jump across the synapse, bond, and all through your body when you pray. I feel good. Ner. Free drugs. You can drug your mother twice every night. You can drug your dad. You can drug your teenager. Kids, do you know that after 40, your parents are losing 10,000 brain cells a day? 10,000 brain cells a day. And if they go to sleep with stress and they haven't gotten that out, there's this bad thing called cortisol that eats up brain cells. You want your parents to go home with all the stress out of their body, knowing that you're okay. So would you share highs and lows with them every night? Would you talk? Would you pray for them? It would be a blessing for them. If you don't, do you know how much dementia care is going to cost in 40 years? They can hurt you financially. They're going to be living at your house if you don't do highs and lows every night. You're going to be changing their poopy diaper. It's going to cost $500,000 a year. You better do this. The final step is to bless. And what if every night in every home, everyone you knew, everyone you loved, went to sleep knowing they were loved and they were blessed? Take this home and... Oh, that's my family, by the way. We did this every night with Catherine and Joseph. Joseph thanks you for giving him the scholarship. He's finishing college this year. Catherine's working with homeless teenagers in Denver. Wow. Share, read, talk, pray, bless. Yeah. Amen.